We're joined by Dr. Matthew Bunson, an EWTN senior contributor. Okay, Matthew, let's go back a second. This ceremony, which creates new cardinals, is called a consistory. So tell us, what exactly is a consistory and what is so significant about today's consistory?
Yeah, well, the name consistory comes from the Latin for to stand together. In other words, this is a gathering of the cardinals by the Pope for a specific purpose. Today's is an ordinary public consistory, and it has as its primary purpose to create new cardinals. The ceremony itself is just filled with so many of the great symbols of the cardinals. We had, for example, the placement of the red biretta, or the scarlet biretta, the cap that they wear. And then there's also the granting of a ring. And the Holy Father says to the cardinal, as he gives him his ring, he said, "Receive this ring," he says, "from Peter, and let it strengthen your faith and love for the Church as it is strengthened itself by the love of the successor of the apostles." And then he also gives them a title to a church in Rome, a titular church or a deaconry, that gives them a direct connection to the pastoral care of the city that is, of course, the Pope's responsibility.
Sounds pretty incredible. Even though the Pope only created about 14 cardinals today, you see this as a very significant event. Why is it so significant?
It's significant because as of today we have 125 electors, cardinal electors, meaning that they're under the age of 80 and therefore eligible to vote in any prospective conclave. 59 of them have been named by Pope Francis, 47 of them by Pope Benedict, and of course 19 by Pope St. John Paul II. That means that Francis has now created a majority, the largest block of voters in any conclave. It's also worth noting that Europe remains the dominant group of cardinals. There are about 53 of them, 22 of them from Italy. The rest, from 6 continents and about 65 countries, are dispersed throughout the globe. So it gives you an idea of the strength of the Italian vote in any conclave.
Edward Penton there had mentioned a few of the new cardinals. How should we get to know them a little bit better? What do they tell us about where Pope Francis is leading the Church?
Yes, well, Pope Francis, we want to look at 2 in particular that he's chosen. One is Luis Ladaria, who's a prefect of the Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith, and the other is Konrad Krajewski, who's a Polish cardinal who's in charge of the papal charities. Both are significant because they're both being made cardinals on the same day. And in a recent Reuters interview, Pope Francis talked about the fact that he looks at both as part of what he calls the long arm of the papacy. We have on the one hand the Office for Doctrine in the Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith, and then we have papal charities. As he puts it, these 2 long arms are faith and charity together. But then there was also the visit of the cardinals today to Pope Benedict XVI, right after the consistory. So Francis, again, is trying to emphasize continuity with his predecessors. And this, I think, was probably the highlight of the day for all of those cardinals in consistory.
Wow, it's pretty incredible, and to think about how a significant moment, potential significant moment, this really is for the life of the Church. Dr. Matthew Bunson, an EWTN senior contributor, thanks so much.
Good to be with you.